It's that time of week. It's a Thursday, and we have made it. I mean, it's not officially the start of the NFL season yet, but we've made it, folks. We've made it because training camp is up and running everywhere. Mike Garafolo is with us. You can follow him on social media on X at Mike Garafolo. His weekly appearance here on Puck Sports is brought to you by Hartley and Hartley Insurance, family-owned second-generation independent insurance agency that's been serving the Puget Sound since 1978. They promise honesty, fairness, and integrity like it's a running for a campaign. Contact Jamie Hartley when he's not playing golf or going to the Mariners game, which was where he was yesterday to watch that baseball team play. Yeah.
God.
253-565-8700.
That was about as exciting as a funeral yesterday. I feel bad for him.
Also, Zogs on Fox Island. Great place to grab a cold beer, hang out with friends, watch the game like the Mariners. Great outdoor patio to enjoy the
You're going to need the
Northwest
drink, too,
summers.
by the way.
Yeah. New summertime hours. Go visit Zogs on Fox Island on Facebook and Instagram. Of course, you can watch and listen to all of this content at pucksports.com, also on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcasts. We do the daily puck drop at 10 a.m., and we release all our guests at 1 o'clock. And again, we're talking to Garafolo from inside the Puck Sports studios built by Limback Lumber. Yeah, you were texting me nonstop during that Mariners game. Why did you watch the Mariners game yesterday?
Ian asked me the other day. I was talking to him about baseball, and I said I was telling my friend before the season about some team that wasn't the Phillies, and he's like, well, what would you know? Like, I was like, I watch baseball. See, you get with baseball with our schedule, you get the whole regular season, right? And it's the only sport on when we get our downtime. So I really enjoy the regular season. We get to the playoffs, even if your team's in it, and it's like, now I'm busy, right? We're into the NFL season. Whereas with hockey, I don't watch too much basketball, but with hockey, I miss a lot of the regular season. And then honestly, not till after free agency. So, March and April, I'm watching as I go along, but I'm locked in for the playoffs. So it's like, which would you rather have? I guess I'd rather have the one where I can watch the playoffs. Anyway, so yesterday I'm like, I was sitting in my office working. I'm like, let me just pop on a game, and I'm watching the Mariners game, and it's just like, it was so disheartening to watch a team that I thought was good. And I'm like, I'll watch them, I'd seen them a little bit. I know they've been struggling of late. And I'm like, hey, let's see what. And it was just like, they were just going through the motions, and as soon as, who got on to start the inning for the Angels? I forget who it was. Or I was like, and they're going to blow this. I was watching. I was like, so I was texting you because I knew you were probably upset with what was happening. I didn't care. Look how upset I am, and I didn't even care. I can imagine you wanted to punch a wall behind you. They're
so massively frustrating. It's unbelievable. I've never seen a city and a fan base turn more on a team that is in first place or a game.
I could see why. It was like a visceral lifelessness, if that's not an oxymoron, right? It was just. Anyway.
So what do you have? The MLB the MLB TV package?
Yeah, it's great. You get more bang for your buck from that than any other, because there's more games, right?
It's the best though. Their whole setup is the best.
And the big ticket that they have that you put on, they just kind of pop through all the games and go around. You never see that?
No.
It's baseball red zone. Matt Yaloff will do it some nights. They have some other guys.
That's right. No, I've seen it. I've seen that. Yeah. It's baseball red zone.
The only thing is they cut away and it's like, and here's the pitch, and you can see the dude swinging, and it's like they cut away and they go to break because I think they're on Apple TV at the same time. So they'll say like, and we'll be right back, and then they don't disappear.
Yeah.
But then when they reset for wherever it is, I guess Apple TV or whatever it is, where they're coming back from break, they'll go away, like they'll flash and then they'll bring it back, and it's like, oh, there's a runner on third. Well, how did he get there? I saw him right about here, and so, but yeah.
So because you can't root for anyone in the NFL, is it? I mean, I know you love the Flyers, but Phillies, where the Phillies at for you?
Yes, that's
right there.
I mean, I grew up a Phillies fan, going to the vet, Dollar General admission, till they won the I wish they won, till they went to the World Series in '93. And then it went up to $5, which was a 400% increase, if I'm doing my math correctly, for a 13-year-old who at the time had an allowance of $3. Yeah. So now I can go to 3 games at $1. How many can I go to at $5? You do the math on that, folks. So
have the kids, they got the Philly fandom?
they do, which is great. You know, they see, where am I?
Good for you.
They just went and got ice cream the other day. Huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh,
right?
look at that.
I didn't even think these things were still available.
Oh,
right
those
here.
are
So
the best. Where'd they get that from?
Mario's Pizza in Hoboken, New Jersey.
And they've got those.
And then the next day they came home with A's helmets.
Because who was it? It was Dairy Queen that did it, right?
I used to get them at the games when I went to the vet. You know, that's where I remember doing it. Yeah.
Does Mario's have a Mariners?
I will have to check, but the problem is I won't be able to check until I think September 5th. They are closed for vacation. They shut down.
What do you mean?
For a month.
What are they, European?
They are.
Well,
yeah, actually.
Yeah.
So Mario was born in Italy.
So they close down in August. They take the whole month off.
I actually didn't realize he was born in Italy because he's got just a straight up North Jersey accent.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I was born in Italy. I said, no, you weren't. He's like, yeah, until he was like 9. I said, you have no accent, nothing, no indication, like just wiped it clean.
Yeah.
He used to tell stories about they used to play. So he was really good at baseball, but they used to play this game. I forget what it was called. And it was, they'd have a stick and they would like pop the thing up and then hit it with the stick. And it's like a bottle cap that they would pop up and hit. And that's what they played in Italy. Because I was like, how does a guy from Italy come right to the U.S. and be a good baseball player? He said he used to play that game. He used to pop it up and hit it. So I will check for you. They're in there doing renovations. I'll walk by. We basically, my kids eat there so much. We're probably paying the renovation expenses is what we're doing. It's all our money. So they're renovating for a month, but they're not closed for renovations. Okay. They're renovating because they're close. You know what I mean? So I give them credit for doing that.
All right, let's. I want to jump at some football. Right here it is. It starts. It starts this week. I mean, I know you guys have been going at it. It's. There's no off season and all that kind of stuff, but everyone's gearing up this week for the start of training camp. And when do you officially say goodbye to your family? Is it now this week or?
It's a 2 weeks starting Saturday. So it's like 16 days we call inside training camp, which means every day we're pretty much wall-to-wall coverage on NFL Network, some NFL Plus you'll see as well. I don't know about the individual. It used to be like it would start with Good Morning Football, which, by the way, that starts on Monday, so tune in for that. So they're at 8 a.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific now. It used to be 7 and 4. Now it's 8 and 5. And then they've got a 2-hour show that's on the Roku channel, I believe, that they're doing a syndicated version. So, how's it going to go? We'll let you know after a couple of days. they're like, you're on the show on Monday. Okay, what am I doing? I don't know, but you're on the show. Am I doing news hits or whatever? I don't know.
Where's your first? You may have just said it. Where's your first visit?
I didn't. So Saturday, Philadelphia.
Okay.
Sunday, Pittsburgh. Flying home Sunday night so I could be here in Jersey in the home office for the first episode of Good Morning Football. To Tampa, I go after that. Washington Jets. So I was going to tell you, it's actually not that bad because after the Jets on Friday, I'm actually home. I'm working from home 2 days, which we're working on getting the short camera up, so I may be down there. So if you're a regular viewer of NFL Network, one of these days coming forward, you're going to be like, wait a minute, that's not his home. That's not his
Can
setup.
you get one of these cameras set up in your car? Because for us, you've done a lot of these shows in your car. Let's maybe get the NFL Network to get you one of the cameras in the car. How about that?
They begrudgingly gave me this one. I mean, I got at one point one day I got a why are we doing this? And I was like
because I want to go to the second home. That's why.
Because I've driven 3 hours round trip to do 2 minutes of TV, and 2 minutes probably generous, more like 45 seconds of TV. And I'm tired of doing it. If we're down, because a lot of times early in the season, even late in the season, we'll be down there on the weekend. And it's like, well, we got to go home because Dad's got to work from Sunday morning at home if I don't have a game. And so now it'll be like, well, Dad's just got to go downstairs, which is going to be great. My wife will be happier. Good. The kids will be still miserable and screaming because that's what they do, but my wife will be happier. So that's what matters.
Bring the kids on. I'm getting choked up. Bring the kids on the show. I think America needs to see them.
They haven't popped in quite some time, although they were hanging. Right here's a glass door that I have that separates. I could show you. Camera move. Got the glass door here with my dry cleaning, and they were hanging. See all my polos ready to go for training camp?
Yeah.
They were hanging on that bar, and I'm like, they're gonna either go through the glass because tempered glass, it is strong, but if you get it at the right angle and at the right, you don't need much, and it just
bam.
And I'm like, one of these days I'm going to be on the air, and they're just going to come right through that glass.
Is your role expanding with Good Morning Football?
No. I'm not. I don't
what?
know. No, I don't know.
Did I ask you a sensitive question?
No, I mean I'm asking my bosses, and they're like, I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see.
Who's in on the show? Do we know?
It's still Peter Strager, Kyle Brandt, and Jamie Erdahl.
Okay.
Akbar Bajabiamila, who is American Ninja Warrior, famous now, and has the talk. Is that the
yeah, but he used to work
talk
there,
show
right?
he's on? Yes, he did. Yeah, so he's returning to NFL Network. I don't know that he's permanent. I don't.
Okay.
I think he's gonna, because Jason McCourty did not make the move out to LA. Jason's
that's who we lost. McCourty staying back.
Yeah, he's still, which Peter and Kyle are staying back too. They're going to be coast to coast. So we'll have, they'll be in LA sometimes, New York sometimes. So again, I don't know if Peter catches a cold one day. Do I go here, or is somebody in LA? I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I'll be part of the show in some form or fashion. I'm excited about that. I'm excited for these guys. A little restart, refresher. And you know what? The unknown is exciting sometimes.
Yeah. All right. So you're going to be your first stop. You said the Eagles and then Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Pittsburgh, what's the latest? I saw that Russell already day one of practice.
Got a calf.
Calf tightness.
I'm telling you, and I've said this.
Uh-oh.
Justin Fields in the preseason is going to do some special stuff.
You think he's going to?
Because he's done it before. No, I don't know if he's going to win a job, but it's going to be like, woof, how do we not put that guy in? Because even if he doesn't do it with his arms, he's going to do it with his legs, right? So you're guaranteed. And Mike Tomlin leans into the preseason. He plays his guys. You know, they're dress rehearsals. Yeah. Mike Tomlin's a very traditional coach in a lot of ways, which I give him credit for being that way, yet also being able to speak to this generation of athletes and still relate to these guys. So he's going to play these guys. And Justin Fields is going to get a chance to make some plays, and he's going to make some plays, and the crowd's going to be clamoring for, because I think the general NFL fan is now down on Russ, right? They've seen the last couple of years. It has not been good. It was a downright disaster to start in Denver. And then last year was better, but he was still getting barked at on the sidelines by Sean Payton, getting cut despite the fact that they were already on the hook for $37 million guaranteed or whatever it was. So I think the general NFL fan is like, this guy's done. You know, Russ is cooked. No pun intended. Well, actually, pun intended now.
Yeah, it was.
So, yeah, once it was here, it was like, once it was out of my mouth, I was like, yeah, I meant to do that. So I think once you see the potential in Justin Fields and the sensational plays he's capable of making, they're going to be clamoring for him. I just think it's going to be interesting. That's all I'm saying.
Can Tomlin revive his career? I mean, because this is it for him. Like, if it doesn't work here, it's over. But there's still a good player in there, is it not? Is there? There's still that good. No, I'm saying can Mike Tomlin
revive Russ's
something
career
out of Russell, because there's still a good quarterback in there.
But it's not what it once was. It's not. There's no, like, and we talked about this, you and I and Jim, I guess. Was he still a Seahawk? I think it was his last year as a Seahawk. And we talked about, when does that skill level start to drop off? And the Seahawks saw it. And it was like, okay, the off the field aggravation that we're getting, okay, combined with the fact that the talent level, he used to be, he created throwing lanes with that wiggle and the quick moves in the pocket, which is why, the guys that liked him coming out, despite the size, that's what they liked about him, that he was going to be able to play bigger than he was because of that. And it's not what it was. I mean, everybody loses that throughout their career. I think some confidence has gone as well. So I would say this is maybe his best case scenario in the NFL, or that he could have come up with, because this is a love you up type of deal. I mean, Tomlin demands discipline, but he's also a prop you up kind of guy, instead of a bark at you on the sideline and undress you on a national TV audience game.
Good team. They got a good team or not?
Pittsburgh? Yeah. I mean, they're 8-9, 9-8, right? And is Tomlin on the winning side again? Does he keep the streak going? They've got, per Cynthia Freeland, our analytics expert at NFL Network, she's got a list of projected wins. And so this is the way I like to do it. And I haven't finished it. I could go to it to tell you the exact number, but I know that Pittsburgh, per her projected wins, has the toughest schedule in the league. A lot of people say, oh, strength of schedule based on last year. That means nothing to me. I mean, virtually nothing. I do it based on, here are the expected wins. Some people do it by the Vegas odds. I do it by Cynthia. And so Pittsburgh has the hardest schedule in the league. So do they get to 9-8? This could be the end of the streak.
They are. Let's go. I want to flip over. I'm going to get to the Seahawks in a quick second. Let's go with the Niners. It appears from the outside looking in, there is chaos everywhere. You got Brandon Aiyuk requesting a trade. Now you got Trent Williams. I know there's some news on him. He's not reporting because he wants a new deal. What is going on with the Niners right now?
Yeah, I don't. I think in the end, they'll get the best out of Brandon Aiyuk this year. The 49ers will, even without a new contract, because he's going to want to prove something, right? So a lot of times the team, you got to look at this as a good problem to have. And as long as you're not, and you don't see this anymore for any teams really, as long as you're not that team that's like, oh, we're just not going to reward anybody and we're going to try to save money across the board. Because that doesn't bode well in your locker room. But again, that doesn't exist in the modern NFL. I mean, name me a team who hasn't ponied up money for their star players. Now, you could disagree at times, and they can let people go. Like, how are the Giants players going to react that Saquon Barkley was let go? Mm-hmm. TBD. We'll see. But if you've got, a guy who's playing and giving you his best because he's motivated and wants to stick it to you, that's a good problem to have. With Trent Williams, I think that's an easy fix. To me, and I would suggest this for Tyreek Hill as well, because it's similar. Trent Williams has a deal where the last year of the deal, which is 26, so 24, 25, 26, if I'm not mistaken. He's got 3 years left. The last year was a blown up, inflated year meant to drive the average per year up. So the agent put it in there to say, hey, he's at 24 million a year when really without that year, it's like 21. So it makes it look better when you do the deal, but it's never meant to be. So that year's like 33 million. And then this year he's 20, and I think next year he's 23. Borrow from the 33, move it forward and say, hey, we're going to move some of that money forward. That year that you were never meant to get anyway, we're going to move that forward. And by virtue of doing that, he gets money now faster. He gets more money in these next 2 years. And now you just bought a real year. So if you're never going to pay him 33, but you buy that down to 23 and you use 10 million and spread it out over the next 2 years and guarantee a good portion of it, you make him happy and you just got yourself an extra year. And Tyreek Hill, same thing. He's got a big inflated year on the end of his deal. He wants a new deal. I would do that. I would borrow money from that year. And then the team, what do they get? Another year of control via the contracts. I think that'll wind up being the situation with Trent Williams.
And what's the latest with Aiyuk? Is this anything? It's a hold in, right? So he's not getting. Yeah. He's not going to get fined. I mean, is this just part of the game plan, or what's the latest with that? Obviously his end game is to get a new deal, but is his end game truly to get traded?
No, I think the end game is to get paid. I think, all things equal, he would stay there. I don't think he's at that point. I mean, there's some Trent Williams. I remember when Trent Williams was done in Washington. Trent Williams was done in Washington. There's nothing you could have said to him to get him back there. He was like, I'm out. That's not the situation with Aiyuk there. I think in the end, he probably realizes at some point he's got to get on the field to get ready for the NFL season. I wouldn't recommend, especially in a season where you're trying to make a point about you deserve more money, to not have any training camp. So you go to the back or you go to the migraine. That's another one, because you can't see that on an X-ray or an MRI, right? My back hurts. Well, nothing's coming. Well, I'm telling you, my back hurts, right? And you can't really prove that. Whereas a hamstring, you got to see a strain or something like that. So Kyle Shanahan's answer I thought was great. He's like, all I know is his neck and his back are hurting him. So it's a hold-in. He basically said, so it's a hold-in, which is what we expected. So it is what it is. So it sounds like the team's like, we'll give you a little bit of time to play this charade. We'll go, but we're not going to go along for too long with it.
We've talked about this before, but where do you see their window to win this thing? I don't know. I feel like there's some parallels here to what the Seahawks did and what's happened to the Seahawks. Is that you just started having all the I want a new deal, I'm not happy, he's not happy, and then it just blew up. I mean, are we getting closer to that with these guys?
I don't think so. I think it's a hard comparison to make. That Seattle regime had a lot of personalities, and had a quarterback who wasn't one of those guys. I think that was a huge reason why that thing blew up. And some of it was financial. Like, hey, we're not going to pay this guy. We're not going to keep this guy. We're not going to reward this guy, but we're going to do whatever we can, bend over backwards for the quarterback. You don't have that in San Francisco, and he's going to get paid this upcoming offseason. Brock Purdy is, assuming everything goes to plan and he stays healthy. So, I think it's going to be, I look at them as a team that has done a good job of drafting talent, developing talent, figuring out who works in their system, which is why they moved on from Steve Wilkes, right? You get to the Super Bowl, the offense sputters, and you're going to blame the defense. What are we doing here? Well, it's a system that they didn't like and they weren't comfortable with in the first place. I questioned the hire in the first place. I was like, I think Steve Wilkes is a really good coach and has been a good defensive coordinator in the past, but that's not your system. You've been trying to, Robert Saleh, D'Amico Ryans, who else am I missing? The defensive coordinator. You wanted to run that system. You liked that system. They made a break from it. So they've done a good job of figuring out what it is they do and what Kyle Shanahan wants to do and feed into that with their talent. So I don't know that it's a window. I think they're going to be competitive for a long time.
Tell Seahawks fans about Connor Williams. What's the latest? He came in for a visit with Seattle. Mike McDonald said on Wednesday it went great. He passed his physical. He has experience of playing guard, but specifically playing center there as well. Does he end up in Seattle, or what other visits does he have planned?
I don't know that he has any visits planned, does he, at this point? I do know that, it was put out there that he's entered negotiations with the Seahawks, which is a APB to the rest of the league. Okay. Like, hey, if you want Connor Williams, like, we've got an offer from Seattle, which is not good enough to sign just yet. So anybody else want to step up, and this is your last chance? Like, that's exactly what that was, right? Okay. So. And I saw one of those recently.
He's a good player.
Like, yeah, he's a good player. Yeah, he's a good player, and Seahawks are interested in him. So sounds like they've made an offer. So they're interested in bringing him in. So, it's one of those like, hey, no reason to rush. He's a veteran. Why do you got to get to camp this early? So you kind of put it out there and see if you can get somebody else to bite. And if not, you wind up taking the offer that's on the table.
What are you hearing about the status of Abe Lucas? I played a comment earlier from Mike McDonald, and he sounded concerned that, hey, we thought he'd be here by now. He wasn't laying blame at Lucas. He was just saying that we thought it would be a little sped up here, a little bit quicker than it has been. And then I think it was a follow-up. Hey, is there a worry that he doesn't make it for the season? And it's like, well, acknowledged, yeah, there's a worry. What's the latest from your end?
Trending in the right direction is what I was told. Like, no reason to think that he's going backwards on this one or whatever. The cautious approach was deemed the best with him. So I don't know the specifics of the surgery. It was a chronic deal that they were talking about, which a lot of times can mean cartilage, which is something that you want to be careful with when you're coming back from that. The old microfracture surgery, it's like you don't want to rush that. You want everything to heal. And so I don't know if he had that type of surgery. I don't know if they've clarified exactly what type of surgery he has, but it was one of those, like, sounds like they've erred toward the side of, and I don't know if they as the team or the medical side or his side or whatever is taking the time, but trending in the right direction and just taking the cautious route.
But it sounds like. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you there, but last time when we were doing the draft show, and I think you get it. I think you were talking to his agent like during the draft show, and he said, he's going to have surgery. He's going to be fine. Did he have an additional surgery to that one, or did he just have the one in the offseason?
That I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. Because that was he didn't. Did he have surgery before the draft, or was it? I'm trying to remember. Because when you asked me that, I feel like he hadn't had the surgery yet.
Yeah, I don't know if he had it yet or he had just had it, but it seemed at that time when we did that draft show that he was the agent was like, oh, he'll be fine, and I know there's been some video that surfaced of him and working out and he looked good, but still not on the field yet. What do you make of the Julian Love extension? Good
player.
Good move. I mean, he just seems like the exact type of guy that you want to invest in if you're McDonald and you're John Schneider.
Yeah, good player. He was very popular here with the Giants when he was here. amongst the players and amongst the fan base and the media. He was great to deal with as well. I spoke to him a few times. He was awesome. So he seems like a good cornerstone piece, and they like what they've seen on the field from him. So to make that move, yeah, definitely makes sense. And I think they were very, very pleased with adding him to the mix when they did, and probably surprised them to the upside a little bit, I would say. So yeah, good player, good character guy, just the kind of guy that you want around for sure.
Okay, so how close is the quarterback market going to be shifted again, right? Jordan Love appears close to reaching a new deal.
Yeah, I mean, as we entered camp and he was holding in, I said I would measure it in days, not weeks. Okay. So I expected it within. I actually thought, well, how many days are we in now? I feel like it was Monday we had this conversation, so I thought it'd be done by now. So I think it's imminent, and he's probably going to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, which you may say that's nuts, and I may say I think a few things lined up for him. He had a team that took a leap of faith by drafting him, took a leap of faith by trading away Aaron Rodgers and turning it over to him, and then really has stood by him the whole time and been confident in him. So those are the kind of things that you have to pay for when it comes time to negotiate. And also, he had the 1 year, right? If you had 4 years, you could probably start to poke holes and say, well, this year was a down year, a lot of interceptions or whatever, something like that. It's like when he got 1 year, that was his rookie year. Technically his rookie year, he should only get better, so that helps you from a negotiating standpoint.
When you talk about he'll be the highest paid, are we talking about overall value? We're talking average per year,
average per year.
Yeah.
So, but I think it'll be a long deal. So 5 years, I would say. So with the deal, so 6 years under control, basically under team control, which I think Burrow was 5. I know Trevor Lawrence was 5 as well. So it would make sense. He's close to them, but I think he's going to surpass them.
So Burrow and Lawrence right now are the highest paid, $55 million.
$55 million a year. Dak Prescott's going to jump over that. Patrick Mahomes has redid his deal. He's always going to be hard to compare to because they've tried to redo that deal based on the first deal, which was sub-market at the time. It was like, no, dude, 10 years under. No, you don't do a deal that long.
So Prescott will top that before Love, or then Love tops it, and then Prescott tops Love.
Yeah, I mean, Dak could be in the offseason. Dak could play this entire year out. I mean, I'm very much prepared for that to happen with the Cowboys and Dak Prescott.
Okay, so what does this mean for Tua, right? Isn't Tua doing a hold-in now too?
He is. I would say, I think Tua is going to be a shorter deal, which what happens is if you do the shorter deal, the team says, okay, you're getting a shorter deal, which means you're going to hit free agency sooner than Jordan Love, let's say, so you'll lose a couple of million off that average per year. So he'll be Jared Goff, I think, did a 4-year deal. If Tua does a 4-year deal, I think it's going to be around there, which is $53 million a year. So I would say Tua is going to be in that realm right there on a 1-year shorter deal. But I don't think it really, for Tua, I think he's just looking for fair value, which the Dolphins have been slow playing this, and I'm surprised that they did. Oh. I think once you commit to paying a quarterback, you know what the price is. Like, I don't know why you would my understanding is they were trying to come in around 50, 51. Why would you do that if you know that everybody else is up at 55? The guy's going to feel disrespected, so.
Yeah. Have they does the league and the PA ever get together at some point and just say we need to create like a separate salary cap for quarterbacks?
It's been talked about, but it's not.
No traction?
There's no traction for that because it's going to be the same type deal, right? Like you're going to have to carve out basically what the number is for those guys and try to smooth it out over time. And if you're the PA, why would you limit what any player is making? I understand the haves and the have-nots, but they've tried to do that with the rookie system, right? Where they said, okay, we're going to do a rookie scale basically. Because these guys, like I think Stafford was the last guy, or Stafford or Bradford.
Bradford.
Bradford was the last guy who got this exorbitant $70 million mostly guaranteed deal. Mm-hmm. And people were like, well, why are these guys getting this kind of money when they haven't set money on the field? How about reserving it for the veterans? They tried to do that. They renegotiated it. And then all of a sudden you had all these veterans who weren't getting paid because there was a certain number for them that you'd have to get to if you wanted to sign them. And they'd say, well, we're just going to get the cheaper rookie, right? Like we're going to play the younger guys. And so all of a sudden this money that was supposed to be reallocated to these guys wasn't getting there. So Why limit the quarterbacks again? Oh yeah, sure, it'll be reallocated to other guys, and then it doesn't happen. And then
I don't. Here, I guess what I'm proposing is I'm not saying cap it. I'm saying you just say you can pay them whatever you want, but there's like a certain percentage that only counts towards the cap.
Oh, I get what you're saying. To do it in that regard, yeah.
Yeah, because it's just so. I mean, these guys are just. I mean, I'm looking at this list of guys that make money like per year. It's unbelievable.
I've that's been something that's been kicked around. Here's the problem with that. Okay, from a league standpoint, now you go into if Jerry Jones wants to pay his guy $100 million and it only costs so much against the cap, the Bengals are going to pay what they're just not going to do it. Why would you get back into it? Yeah. That's parity. It's what they want. Don't mess with it.
Yeah, I got you. I mean, that's then you baseball and all that kind of stuff. I totally get it. It's just it's amazing what they're all getting paid and just they're all coming up there at the same time. And I mean, and you're right because Love will get it and then Tua will be close and all that. Geno Smith, you think this year if he plays well, he can play himself into maybe a smaller extension or deal with Seattle?
Yeah, I don't. I just
You don't get that.
I don't know how long you can. I don't know how long you can go with are you winning the Super Bowl with Geno?
Who else?
Maybe
they don't got any options. I mean, Sam Howell.
They like Sam Howell.
By all indications, day one he did not look good.
Day one.
I know, but we like to overreact. Come on.
Oh,
it's training camp. Everybody overreacts.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know they like some of these quarterbacks coming out next year, but again, you're not going to be in a position to take them. I think you're going to be too good. I go through this.
Sure
who
about
could be
that?
How bad could they be? How bad could this team be?
USA Today had them at 5-12.
I don't see that at all. At all. Do not see that at all. This team's too good for that.
That'd be rough.
I mean, at this point, if you're going to keep having this conversation of being stuck in quarterback, I don't know if you want to call it purgatory because it's not that bad. I mean, Geno Smith's playing well and you're winning games and you're, a postseason threat. But you got to at some point get the guy that can win you the Super Bowl, right? So I don't know. We got to see how it plays out. If they go 9-8, then, we could have that conversation about Geno Smith and continuing to move forward with him. I just, when I go through the list of who are the teams that could potentially be the top 5 draft picks next year, I don't come up with the Seahawks.
Okay.
I don't.
What'd you think of Aaron Rodgers when he spoke the other day, just kind of clearing up everything that happened here in the offseason about the minicamp and the OTAs? He said, "Hey, I booked a trip. It was a bucket list item. I couldn't get out of it."
Yeah, and he said he booked it based on the previous year's schedule. So he put it here, which my wife just had that with her job. She had, they moved something. And it's like, no, last year was in June. Well, now it's in July. Well, I booked it, so it happens. It happens with a lot of jobs. Yeah, you just can't assume, I guess, or whatever. But I agree with him. Minicamp's not any different than OTAs. And he was there for all the OTAs and missed the last 2 practices. It's not like, he mentioned minicamp used to be 2 a days for 3 days. You had 5 practices in 3 days. It's not like that anymore. It's basically the same as the OTAs that they've been doing. And he was there for most of them. I'd much rather have him there for most of those and then not be there for the minicamp as opposed to vice versa, where he missed 10 practices or whatever it is, and then showed up for only the last 2.
You know what? I can't wait. I can't wait to every week, either post-game, pre-game, Wednesday, whenever the press conferences are, to check in with Jim Harbaugh. I just can't wait. I mean, the quote he had yesterday talking about going to training camp and how he felt born again with the Chargers. He says, I feel like I'm coming out of the womb. You're in there, It's comfortable and safe, and now you're out.
You want me to ruin it for you?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it.
What do you mean? What are you going to ruin?
Well, I'm not going to ruin it for you, but it's like you think he's just like, okay, here it is. Inside the 49ers, July 24th, 2014.
Oh.
Jim Harbaugh was interviewed in the 49ers' new auditorium Thursday morning. Here's a transcript. He said this. Is this the wrong one?
So he said the same thing when he was introduced with the Niners?
In 2014.
Oh.
Harbaugh on training camp. Oh, it's July 24th. Yeah. Feel like you come out of the womb and are reborn into football. So it's old material. Okay. And I love him. I think he's I one time I was up when I think Brandon Jacobs was the running back and I was there before a game I think they were playing the Giants, and he was listed as questionable. And I was like, how do you? Well, yeah, we'll see. We'll let you know on Sunday. And I was like, well, do you have any guess as to whether or not he'll play on Sunday? And he looks at me and he goes, no guess. Just like the whole room went quiet.
I'm excited to watch him. Hey, I know you can't root for anything because you cover the sport, but you're a fan of the sport. You're a fan of the NFL and all of that, right? You wouldn't be in this business if you weren't. What are you, as we're getting closer and closer, right? Started camp. We got games starting here soon, right? Preseason games. What are you excited about this year? Like to cover?
Like
or a storyline to develop, or to see how this plays out.
Yeah, I'm actually I've got higher expectations for the Jets this year than I did last year.
Mm-hmm.
Last year was like this could go, and I'm not percent. I predicted an Achilles. I'm like, this could go a whole bunch of different ways. I think this year they're a much better team. They did a great job of adding to the roster, bulking up that offensive line, better on defense. I think they're going to be fun. I think the Jets are going to be fun, and I like Cincinnati coming back with Burrow. I think the AFC, it's not just like the Chiefs are coasting to another AFC championship. I think they are going to be challenged in a lot of ways. I'm really excited to see who emerges in the AFC, and I think that side of the NFL this year, I think the playoffs are going to be really fun.
Yeah, that Burrow hairstyle though.
He got bored.
Yeah, it's not good. Come on, that's a bad look.
It's not a bad look.
That's a bad look. A bleach.
Who is the guy? Oh,
hair?
Jimmy Butler comes with like the new hair just to mess with them.
Oh, I love that
every year.
Yeah,
because he wants them to use that shot the entire season
for the media day.
Shot.
Yeah, maybe that's what he's doing. All right. Well, it starts. Training camp is underway. Football season is underway, and we have got the best in the business in terms of gathering all of our news and get you covered all things NFL. He is Mike Garafolo. You can follow him on Twitter at Mike Garafolo. His weekly appearance on Thursdays brought to you by Hartley and Hartley Insurance, family owned and second generation. You can contact them at 253-565-8700. Also, Zogs on Fox Island, great place to grab a cold beer, hang out with friends, watch the M's game, and watch them be terrible again. Great outdoor patio to watch also the beautiful Northwest summers. Visit Zogs on Fox Island on Facebook and Instagram. And again, these episodes every Thursday, they drop at 1 o'clock on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcast. All right, Mike, enjoy the weekend. Say hi to Russ for us, and we'll talk next week.
It's over. I got to get rid of this summer. It's over. My kid drew this up a couple of months ago, and I got to get her to. My summer is over.
Yeah, it is over.
Just like the Mariners. My summer is. Actually, their fall is going to be over soon.
Yeah, well, all of it's going to be over. Mike Garafolo right here on PuckSports.com.